A sirened vehicle went by, and Rex always has to make sure that he reminds them that he knows the song of their people and that they can't get by with their slick language because he knows it. So he always has to talk to them when he hears them. It has been a very long night, and it's because I had to bring Miss Quickwit in to stay with me all night to be bottle fed. So yesterday, with her being very weak in the legs, and I gave her a Bose injection, we brought her in to make sure she was super warm, put her back out, and she has the will to get up and eat and do all of her things, but if she fell over, then she couldn't right herself. And how do I put this delicately? Miss Haley still looks like she's pregnant with many others, and she's not. And when she lays down, because of all her fluff and her fat, she can't feel where her daughter is at if she's too close. So I think you guys know where I'm going with this. I walked in and it looked like Quick was right next to her, but when I got closer to her, her legs were pinned underneath of Haley. So I picked her up and I'm like, well, I'm just gonna set you up close to her so you can get nice and warm, and this is bonding. You've got a full belly, you're not loud, you're not in pain, so like I'm gonna leave you here. So I kept watching her over the camera and she kept falling down, and Haley was really digging up a storm just to fluff up her bed to lay down in. Not uncommon for Haley. And I had a bad feeling last night, and she had fallen over and Haley had covered her with straw, completely and totally covered her. I had found her like that twice. So like at 9:30 last night, I just said, screw this, you're gonna come in with me. I'm just gonna make sure that you're fed and you're warm all night long and let those legs get strong, and then we'll bring you back in the morning. Oh, here we are in the morning. I know, I'm watching, and mom loves her, like seriously, but then she gets in those, stop, the dogs are in here, so Haley's trying to make a mad dash out past me. Okay. You can tell she's still just a little bit weak on her feet. It's these back legs that she just, I know, Mama. It's okay. So I'm just gonna let her kind of do her thing in here. It's okay, Haley, calm down. This is why she's acting crazy. So she's warm. She just has to find her feet in this bedding. I'm just gonna have to watch her really close on the cameras, because she loves Mom and Mom really loves her. And because this is the last surviving one of her litter, and she's always such a good mom, like I don't want to take this kid away from her. I am willing to run her back and forth to do like visits. She's just got to learn to use her feet. Inside she's fine, but in here there's a lot of drag with like the straw, but the straw is the insulator that keeps them warm, so it's just difficult. Someone had to come back in to warm up because they got too cold, and when they get too cold then their legs don't work, and then they don't want to eat, and then they act lethargic. So we're back in for a little bit. Do you want a baba? Are you hungry? Would you like a baba? Yeah. So I think we officially have a bottle baby, because I took her out today and Haley still really loves her, but she's like forgotten how to nurse off of the udder. I don't know if it's just because all of her feedings since like the first 3 or 4 have been on a bottle. She's barely 24 hours old, but she's just acting like she does not want to nurse from Haley. So Haley will be being milked twice a day, every day going forward, and we will still be trying to get little Miss Thing to go in with Haley and stay with her, but she cannot tolerate this cold. With her weak legs and her not being able to like really regulate her own body temperature, she had Bose. I'm almost positive it was a selenium deficiency or white muscle disease. So I'm not comfortable trying to get her back out there just yet, so she can be a bottle baby and stay in here and be my little baby for a while. But we're going to still try to keep taking her outside to Haley so that she has the chance to possibly be with her mother and to nurse and do all the goat things. But if not, then I've already committed to a bottle baby, and that's fine. Even though you guys know I don't like bottle babies. No offense. So Pinky has kind of been overshadowed by the Quick Wit becoming a bottle baby indoors, but still getting visits with Mom because Mom adores her. It is heartbreaking because Haley is such a good mom. So I've been bringing Quick Wit out here every day, like morning and evening milkings, and letting her be with Mom, and Mom cuddles her and loves her and licks her. She was born Sunday. It is now Wednesday, and Haley has just kept this on. So I would love to eventually reunite her, but every time I bring her in, she has no interest in nursing from Haley. And I have no problem if Haley wants her for a little bit every day to keep bringing her in to kind of keep that bond secure so that eventually when she does come back in with the herd, because she won't be indoors forever, that she actually has a mom, and that maybe that might come as we get her on the milk stand and she gets more stable on her feet and can regulate her body temperature where she's just hungry whenever she's hungry. There's the reason that Miss Pinky has not been getting as much coverage as she probably deserves, but it's because of our little sweet girl Quick Wit sitting in there with Miss Haley. And while I can tell her ability to regulate her own body temperature is improving, it's not there yet. She got really cold out here yesterday, like within an hour of being out here. What happens though is she gets in here, she gets tired, and she's still trying to figure out how to work those legs. So she's not 100% sure about the whole like laying down on one's own. And sometimes when she's out here, she lays down and she goes to her side. And then because of all of this, the straw, and she's not 100% on her feet yet, she's getting really close, but she's not 100%. She can't right herself, so then she just lays there. And it's never good for them just to kind of lay sternly or anything like that. So she's actually kind of halfway dozing underneath this light right now with the way that she's going back and forth. So I'm getting ready to take in the milk from this morning's milkings, and I'm going to take her in and put her in her bed. She knows her little box with the blankets is where she goes to sleep. So I'm going to put her in there and let her snooze for a little while. We are in a period where I usually enter in like late March, where I'm starting to get like, because there's just so much going on. But because we bred for February and January babies, like I'm at this point already mid-February, which is fine because I get like a month break. Once Pinky kids, I get like a month off. So I'm ready for the month off. And I don't even have that many kids on the ground. It's just been a struggle with this weather. Okay guys, just giving you a quick update on little Miss Quick Wit. She is in crash mode. Like she is crashing on me. So I have been at it all morning trying to do what I can to keep her up, and excuse the mess of the house, but we had Pinky kid last night, and Quick started to crash on me as soon as I got inside. So it's been kind of survival mode a little bit, which means nothing is clean and everything is like everywhere. So I just wanted to kind of talk to you guys about what I've been experiencing with her. Last night when I came in, she had a really good drink yesterday morning, like a big drink, 3 to 4 ounces, which I was like, man, she was just really hungry. And I figured that was a big feeding. She's going to probably not want to eat the rest of the day. And she didn't. She really didn't. She kind of acted a little bit like she might want a bottle here and there a couple times throughout the day, but she would not really take a big drink. She was like, okay, she's just probably full. And then later that night, I noticed that she was hunched, and I asked Mark, I'm like, have you seen her go number 2, like at all today? Because she's just acting like she's hunched and that she doesn't like really feel all that great. And her temp was okay last night. It was like 101.6 or something like that. So within range, right where she kind of needed to be, a little bit on the lower side, but nothing to be worried about. So I did give her a soapy warm water enema, and she did pass some poos last night, which was good because I really didn't want to let her go without seeing that she'd poo, but she didn't act like she was relieved. And usually like with kids that are constipated, which is not uncommon in kids that are low in selenium, and with her kind of being bent around, really weak on her legs, not being able to regulate her body temperature like most normal kids that are full term like her, those are all telltale signs that she was selenium deficient. So we did give Bose shots. But constipation can be a side effect from low selenium, because when the colostrum switches around day 3 to 4 from mom, it causes a change in the molecular build of the milk. So it makes it more difficult for them to digest. So with selenium deficient kids, it just kind of backs them up. So I was expecting that a little bit. So we got her treated for constipation yesterday. She was doing okay, not really wanting a bottle still, but I'm like, if you're backed up though, there's nowhere for that milk to go when their little bodies are backed up like that. I'm like, and if I haven't seen a poo from you by the morning, I'm gonna give you a CDT or CD antitoxin to kind of help move things along, because if she can't poo and that feces is stuck in her digestive system, it can cause toxicity. So she did get a CD antitoxin injection, something everybody should carry in their kits is this. It just helps a lot with goats. So she got the whole 5 milliliters just to kind of make sure that we were moving her in the right direction. And then I was wondering, I'm like, well, took her temp this morning, she was cold. So she hadn't body regulated all night. Like, she slept through the night. She didn't want a bottle this morning. She didn't really want a bottle. So I took a temp and she was cold. And so we've been in the process all day of warming her up. She got a peritoneal injection of dextrose to help bring up her energy levels and to help her body get warm. And she was on a heating pad. So she's right at like 103 where she should be right now. But she's just kind of in this downward spiral. So then my next thought was, well, maybe you ate too much, because she had a really good drink yesterday morning. So we've just started treating for floppy kid syndrome, which is basically they eat a lot, it sits in the stomach and it can't digest, and it just it throws off the base in their stomach. So she got a little bit of warm water and baking soda slurry to help break that down, because that's really all you have to do for it. It just means that they've overeaten. But I'm just like at this point where I'm like, I need to see some type of improvement. And this could all end up with her not making it, guys. And I've been in tears more than one time today because she's just been doing so good. This is Thursday, so she was born Sunday. So she's 4 days old today. And she is right at like that doorstep where floppy kid syndrome becomes like an issue for like 2 to 3 days to about 2 weeks is like that range where they really can experience floppy kid syndrome very quickly. And bottle babies are notorious for overeating. And with her being little, I probably wasn't the best about making sure she didn't drink too much. So I'm willing to bet I may have let her overeat. I need to be doing better, which is also another punch in the gut to think that this is my fault and it is a result of me not being as on top of it as I should be as her caretaker and steward. So I'm just keeping you guys in the loop. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but hopefully it turns out good. Just praying. I have laid hands on this goat I don't know how many times today just to pray over her, and sometimes that's not enough either, and it's never meant to be. So we'll keep you guys posted. Hopefully the next time you see me, I'm not crying and we have a happy, healthy little baby bouncing around that is taking her bottle as she should. Okay guys, so it's been a little bit of time since the last clip you saw of Quick Wit and when I am filming this now. And I am so sorry to say that Quick Wit did not make it. And the reason I've waited so long is because this was an emotional loss. She was out of a very anticipated breeding, 3 doelings, and she was the only one that I was able to pull out alive. And we fought really hard to get her out and to keep her alive. So, and then her being a bottle baby and inside with us all the time, like she was just my cuddle bug. So it just hurt a little bit more than other losses. They all hurt in a way, but there are just some that they really stick with you. And she died the Thursday after she was born, and I really think that she had a case of floppy kid syndrome, or that something had happened with her digestive tract. Now I'm going to get into like a couple of things that I think led to this. Let's back this up a second and see like where this may have started from, because having so long of a time to think about this, it's given me a chance to kind of research things and seeing other Facebook posts about does with excessive amniotic fluid and kids drowning in utero. And I know I had some comments like the placenta is detached, but I'm like, there was literally nothing that would have told me that the placenta detached. And it's not uncommon sometimes to have multiple placentas in a birth. So if one detaches and I'm already on number 2, like that's normal. So our management for pregnant does is this year we did do multi-min. About 8 to 6 weeks prior to kidding dates, we were giving them multi-min injections, which is minerals and vitamins in an injectable form to make sure that they are not deficient. I know Haley has like the bare nose ridge, which would herald zinc deficiency, but I've noticed all of my goats, because I gave them molasses tubs this winter, are all kind of getting the hair around their faces gross, and they're rubbing it constantly to get that molasses that's dried off of their muzzle, and it's causing hair loss. So I don't really think that's it. And she was getting like a couple of like zinc pellets here and there, and her coat didn't say that. Her coat is beautifully soft, very thick. Everything about her besides this is saying she's healthy and she's balanced. I think that this started with a case of hydroamnios, not common in goats, but not impossible. So hydroamnios is when the doe produces a higher amount of amniotic fluid, and that fluid drowns kids in the womb. It can cause them to come out pretty close to term and not viable, like the first one who had cloudy eyes, or they come out where they're full at term and they just fail to thrive or breathe. And I honestly think that second one, because the heartbeat for quite a while, that she wasn't very far behind her sister in that video. There's very little editing in the time between like pulling the first baby and the second baby coming out. So I don't know if, and I didn't rupture her bubble. I don't know if maybe her bubble had ruptured prior, or something had happened with the umbilical cord that detached that made her take in a breath. I don't know. And I can't really bother myself with that now that she came out heart beating, was not viable. She seemed like she had a lot of water in her system. Like the bellies were really squishy. And I know sometimes that can be from, people say Cache Valley because it was watery. I'm like, but she doesn't have the distended limbs. She wasn't rubbery. She was at term. She was not mummified. I don't think it was Cache. Had to fish for Miss Quickwit, and she came out great. Dystocia is not the fault of a doe. I know someone said you need to do better management with older girls. She's not that old. She's like 5 or 6 years old. Perfect, almost a prime age for some dairy goats. She labored correctly. It was not a slow labor. It was very textbook for her every single year. The dystocia isn't the doe's fault. It's because there are a lot of kids in there with a ton of amniotic fluid that she just got tangled up and got misplaced. I got her out, but it's just when they present with hydroamnios, those were the first two. The second is that they'll come out viable. They'll be very, very weak, and that eventually some things on their digestive tract might go wrong, which is kind of textbook for what happened to Quickwit. Was it my fault? I don't know. I'm not gonna sit and dwell on it. I do feel like me bringing her in and out to try to keep her with Haley, because Haley wanted her so badly, to going from warm to coming out here for maybe even 40 minutes under a heat lamp next to her mother may have been enough for her to chill a little bit and to stop her digestive system. And that could have caused the floppy kid as well. That could have caused a digestive shutdown that caused her to pass away. But I'm going to write this off as that Mother Nature decided she was not strong enough, and it didn't matter what I was going to do, that this is how things were going to pan out. Sometimes as goat keepers or stewards of our land and our livestock, we make great decisions in the moment, and there are other times that we don't make great decisions, or we just don't know what happened. Like, we did the best that we could and the outcome just was unfavorable. And I think you have to write that off to, it's a tool to be used. We will often hear me say that, you know, failure is not the end result. It's a tool for the next experience. As much as I wish Quickwit were here, I didn't fail. Haley didn't fail. This whole experience is a tool that I will use to be a better goat herdswoman for my dairy goat herd. And that's really what I have to pull away from this. But I'm sorry, guys, this isn't a feel good. I promise the next videos feel good. I have a lot more kiddings getting ready to happen. I sound tired and beaten, but I'm really not. It's for Quickwit. It's for this specific experience. I feel beat down. That's why I've also waited weeks, because we literally held her in our arms until she died. Because that's what we are responsible to do as stewards, is to ease passing. And if that means they're not alone and they know that all they knew was love, then that's what I'm going to do. And it breaks my heart. I can't even think about it. And it's been almost 2 weeks. it was just a hard experience. And I know I'll have more of those experiences, but I'm hoping maybe Quick Wit can be a lesson to me and a lesson to you, because this is not fun to share this with you guys. It's never fun to be like, my baby goat died, that I tried really, really hard. And I have all of these management practices that I have to try to prevent this from happening, but this happens anyways. I just feel like it is my duty to bring it to you so that it's not all rose-colored glasses. You guys get to see as much of it as I can possibly bear to share, and this is one I didn't really want to share with you guys at all, but I feel like transparency is best, and I think if it can help somebody else, then it's worth sharing, and that's what we're here for. We're here to uplift, help, and educate. This was an emotional thing for me, but I'm hoping that it can turn into something educational for someone else, and also for me in the next experience, because there will be next experiences, and I just hope this goes in my tool belt to help me to be more prepared for the next one. So guys, I'm sorry, this isn't a good one. It hurts. It is raw, but it's real life. So I hope that you guys found some use. I won't say liked the video. I hope that you find some use from the video, that it's eye-opening for you, or provides some type of educational fodder for your mind to think about if you are a goat herdsman doing things like this. But I hope that you guys are all staying safe out there, being kind to one another. We will catch you all in the next one. God bless you. Bye, y'all.